Hello, hi Rajiv. Welcome you to Chat and Chai once again.
Hi Kamalji, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here as always. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Rajiv. How about you?
All very well, Kamalji.
So, Rajiv, we do have some queries sent in by our listeners here, but before that, I understand you wanted to talk to our listeners about L-1B.
Couple of things I wanted to run by you guys. Actually, three things, if I may. Since we
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit of time today, let me go over them. These are
Sure.
some of the issues that people are having trouble with, or these are issues of current interest. One is Obama's 21st November announcement regarding many changes in US immigration policy that would make life a lot easier for people who are here under employment based green card categories. And one of the things that he had decided he was going to do was to allow people to file for their last step of the green card process called adjustment of status, or also called I-485, without having
Mm-hmm.
to wait for their turn in the lineup to be current. So, in other words, you can file your last step with the I-140, which is the second step, and not have to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 years to file the last step. The
Uh-huh.
big advantage of that is number one, after 180 days of that filing, you can move jobs. Okay. Number
Mm-hmm.
two advantage is your spouse, everybody in your family gets their employment authorization also. So people have been asking, when is that likely to materialize? And I had earlier stated that, guys, we really don't know whether the Obama administration wants to implement these changes through policy, which means just issue a
Mm-hmm.
memo and everything changes, or do they want to do it through formal regulations? Formal regulations can take a long time, months. Okay, but if they want to
Okay.
do it by implementation through memoranda, that can be done pretty much overnight. Our understanding is that USCIS is working on implementing some of these provisions as speedily as they can. But right now,
Mm-hmm.
there is no firm timeline that we can see emerging when these provisions will be implemented. So takeaway number one, there is no firm timeline on rest of the provisions Obama announced for legal immigration policy changes. Number two,
Okay.
for the H-4 EAD, there are recurring issues, and one of the most important issues is, well, some issues that came up as frequently asked questions. One, is there a quota on H-4 EAD applications like there is on H-1? And the answer is there is no quota. It's an unlimited number of applications anybody can apply if they qualify.
Okay.
Number two, I'm trying to remember. There was another issue that came up quite frequently. People have asked me about that several times.
Mm-hmm.
There was the issue of quota, and oh yeah, and the issue was of deadline. That
Okay.
May 26th is when they start accepting applications for H4EAD. Is that a
Yes.
deadline or is it the beginning of time? And the answer is it is not a deadline. It is the beginning timeline, and it should go on forever. So you should be able to apply for H4EAD at any time after May 26th. It's not a deadline. Okay,
All right.
those
All
two
right.
issues. And the third thing I wanted to talk about was a report that has come out this morning, actually from one of our neighbors here in Arlington, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
There is an
Mm-hmm.
organization who does some research on issues in immigration law. And their report was that um, L-1B visas, which are a kind of visas used by companies with trans-border presence. So if there is a company in India with a branch in USA, they can transfer their employees under L-1B program as long as they can show that the employees have certain specialized knowledge. The report said that the denial rate had gone up like 5 or 6 times since 2006 for
Mm-hmm.
L-1B applicants, and that if you were applying through an Indian petitioner, you were likely to get your rate of denial was even higher. It's a disturbing trend. It is a trend that is absolutely unnecessary, and it makes life very difficult for global companies. But it is what it is, and we are dealing with it. So these were the
All
three
right.
issues I wanted to just take 5 minutes to run through real quickly. Now you can go ahead with your questions, Kamaji.
Yes, Rajivji, we've got a number of mails here from our listeners, most of them thanking you for helping them out, Rajivji, the listeners who sent in their queries last week. And there's one query here from our listener who wants to keep his identity confidential, and he says, I have H-1 visa and I'm working for a consultant company. Because of not having a project, the company has told me to drop them an email for leave for 2 months. So the questions are number one, if they do not run payroll for 2 months, can it affect my status?
Yes, what they are asking you to do is to become party to a fraud. So please
Okay.
do not be a party to a fraud. I would rather have you apply for a tourist visa and convert to tourist visa, or try to convert. Once you apply, you are legal to wait until the result of that application is announced. Come into the conference call tomorrow. We have a community conference scheduled at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can call or Skype. Come into the conference tomorrow. This is a common issue for Indian community, or not only Indian community, for the community of all employment-based immigrants in this country from anywhere in the world. So come on in.
Mm-hmm.
I will talk to you about it. Do not be a party to this kind of fraud. And not only would you be out of status if USCIS catches on, they can even haul you up for misrepresentation and fraud. If misrepresentation and fraud is ever alleged and noted against you, you can be barred, or you will be barred from entering USA forever. Please don't go
Oh,
that route. Do not do that.
all right. All right. His second question is, if I want to change a job, then would it create a problem?
Look, if you are out of status and you don't have any pay stubs, um, and again, don't just generate pay stubs without getting paid. That too is a fraud. Um, you will be out of status, and USCIS can decide that you need to go outside USA for visa stamping before you can join the next employer. But I would much rather you go that route than try anything which smacks, or which actually clearly is misrepresentation.
Okay. The third question he says is, for how long can they, that is, I think his company, do this?
You're not gonna do it. If I have anything to say about it, you're not gonna do it.
Okay. And finally, he says, I've asked them to run payroll for a smaller amount, but they did not agree. Can there be a solution to this?
There is no solution other than applying for a tourist visa. I have a couple of blog entries on that. If you're not clear, come into the call tomorrow and I will make sure I make some time for us to discuss this issue.
All right. So thank you so much on his behalf as well, Rajati. I think it's very important to him. He wanted to reply as soon as possible. And thank you so much for that.
My
So
pleasure.
these were the queries this week, Rajati. Thank you so much again for your time and for being a part of our show on amirasangeet.com.
Thank you, Kamalji. It's always a pleasure.
Bye bye, Rajati. Have a good day.
You too. Bye bye.